Hello, this is Stephen Bond with Fourplex Investment Group, and this is Brian Schnell, Director of Operations for Fourplex Investment Group. We wanted to try something a little different today as our monthly update and actually give you a video update with some verbal dialogue about what's going on in each of the developments. You'll see at the bottom of the email, there's going to be some attachments that's going to have the plats. Those plats of the community will have the lot numbers. So as Brian is talking about lot numbers and what's going on in each phase, you can reference that, pull it up alongside the video, and see where your exact unit is at within the project. Some of you have already been completed, and so you're just getting this update as another update as to what's going on in the project. And others in some developments may not have quite started yet, but you're going to hear where the project's at leading up to your closing. So we're excited to get this update out to you, and with no further wait, I'll get started. So first of all, we're going to talk about our American Fork project in Easton Park. So Brian, tell us where that project's at right now.
So Easton Park is nearly complete. We have 3 buildings remaining to have certificates of occupancy issued for: 81 through 83, 84 through 87, and 88 through 91. Those certificates of occupancy will come over the next 3 weeks. And then a few days after that, we'll be scheduling walkthroughs and we'll be able to close that project out. The one thing that does remain there is the park, the public park in phase 2. And because of some delays with the city of American Fork, that won't be completed until spring.
So you have the common areas, the park that we've already deeded over in phase 1.
Correct.
Tell us about some of the amenities that that part of the park has and the features and what the community says about that park.
So it's a 5-acre park, a fantastic open green space with a trail that walks around it, and it's used heavily. There's also a fantastic play structure that is used heavily as well. There are pickleball courts that I have seen actually people using them already. So it's a fantastic facility, awesome. A really great park.
Great, excellent. We've noticed that it's been a very pet-friendly park as well. A lot of the tenants there in Easton Park have brought their pets, which honestly, it's been very profitable for the owners there. I myself own quite a few units in Easton Park. I've loved the investment. It took a little while to get stabilized and get rented up just because it was a large volume of inventory that hit the market at the same time. And not just FIG, we had several developments all surrounding us that they weren't even in the works when we first launched this idea of Easton Park, but you know, they came and they've absorbed, and we stabilized a lot faster than the surrounding communities as well. So congratulations to you as an investor to have that happen. Before we move on to the next project, tell us about some of the problems we've had. That project hasn't been perfect. In fact, quite honestly, from the development end, it's probably been one of the bumpiest rides we've had.
Right.
Tell us about some of the problems we've had, how we've overcome them.
So phase 1 and 2 in Easton Park went fairly smoothly. Phase 3 permits were delayed several months with the city of American Fork, and so we started later than we had anticipated. In addition to that, we had significant struggles with our fire sprinkler contractor and with our drywall contractor. The load that's being placed upon available subcontractors in this market right now is significant. And so we struggled to get them to fulfill the terms of their contracts. And so in both instances, we actually ended up hiring second and with drywall, a third contractor to come in and take that excess load so that we could get our buildings finished.
Great, all right. Appreciate that, thank you so much. So if you have any questions on that project specifically or any of these other projects, just reach back out to myself or your sales agent. We'll get you specific details. You can also reach out to Brian. He's over operations. He'll get in direct contact with the builders and the project managers of these developments and can update you. So we'll move on. We'll go to Porter's Crossing in Eagle Mountain. That project, tell us about that one.
Porter's Crossing is really, for all intents and purposes, done. We got our last finals a week and a half ago. I visited that project on Friday, walked through a dozen units to make sure that they were ready to go. We've sent out notices to all of our owners about the orientation walks. The common areas, I think when I was there Friday, had just a small amount of turf that needed to be laid, fence that needed to be installed, and that project's wrapped up.
Awesome. You know, Porter's Crossing, for those of you who invested in Porter's Crossing, it is our #1 development to date. We're really proud of some of the systems and processes we put together about 2 years ago, actually, but it just takes a long time to implement these things when you're talking about something as big as development. It's one of the smoothest transitions from construction into leasing that we've ever had. And so I think our renters are going to be quite happy with the experience they have, as we've kind of separated and divided the development arm versus a construction arm, and really put those systems together. So Porter's Crossing is the first of every other one that we're going to talk about next that will have a very similar turnover process that should be really quite seamless when we complete these units. So we're going to move on. Our last Utah update is in the Boulders in Harriman, Utah. Tell us about that project.
The Boulders is a fantastic project. I visit the Boulders probably every couple of days. The first phase, buildings 1 through 20, are doing fantastic. We're nearly painted out in those buildings. Buildings 1 through 10, I believe right now, are probably just a few weeks away from being to the point where we could turn them over. Phase 2, we have 6 buildings in framing, other buildings that are being excavated right now for foundations. It's moving along really smoothly. Excellent.
What do you project as far as completions? Do you expect any delays with what's going on with the time of year, with construction? As these clients close in phase 2, excuse me, and phase 3, are we going to hit our 12-month deadlines from what you can see right now? Do you expect any delays that we should foresee at this time?
Right now, we don't foresee any delays.
Okay.
We believe that we'll be on time. Weather is always a factor in the state of Utah, but I believe that where we are right now, we'll be able to hit those dates.
Okay. So I know we've had some delays in the past, just solely because of labor, really, but those have all caught back up and we're right on track. So phase 2, phase 3 should be just like phase 1, at or maybe even a little ahead of schedule.
I believe so.
Excellent. Okay, so for those of you in the Boulders, that's a great update. One other thing to notice is, if you've been out to the Boulders, is the common areas are mostly landscaped already as well. So another turnover process is going to be quite nice for the community. Directly across the street, you have the Real Salt Lake, which is our professional soccer team, and the women's professional soccer team, and an amateur soccer team there, plus they have a preparatory school. They've already asked to lease out some of our units for their teams, which is great. We've got some demand already being lined up. Salt Lake Community College across the street, so that has not started yet, but that's going to be started hopefully in the next couple of years. So more and more demand is going to be coming to this area, so we're quite excited about that. As far as the downside or the negatives, and you've probably talked to your sales agent about this, but that area when we started was hills and a really great road to get to it. But with all of the economy going great, they've added several thousand new doors of competition. And so sometimes there's a little more vacancy. We expect this over the next couple of years. There's really not much more area to build out competition in this area. And so as that fills up, the absorption will be even quicker, vacancies far less, and so we just expect a stabilization period just with this massive amount of growth that we've seen and the amount of building to try and catch up, that there's a little more vacancy for the shorter term on that. But I own some investments out there myself. I would just have a more patient outlook. Hopefully the cash flow on a monthly basis isn't always the most important thing right up front to stabilize that asset and prove its value, and it'll be in the long term of just a fantastic asset. So we're going to move on to Idaho, Brickyard Subdivision in Meridian, Idaho. Tell us about that one.
So the Brickyard Subdivision, we've had some significant delays with permits from the city of Meridian. I want to be upfront about that. They were challenging to work with, but we believe we've overcome all of those challenges. We have about 20 buildings in progress right now between the foundation and framing stage. Drywall is set to go in our first building this week. And so I believe we're making really good progress. The play structure is up. The basis for the pool has started, the same with the clubhouse. We won't be able to turn buildings over in Brickyard until our pool, clubhouse, and some of our other amenities are completed first. So we anticipate that being springtime.
Excellent. That's great. As far as 12-month construction timelines, do you expect that we're going to be on track with the operations side? Do you see that we're still trending right on track for our 12-month window? Do we see any signs of delays at this point in time?
I believe that we're still going to be on track.
Okay, is it going to be really quite close?
It's going to, it will be close. We'll have several buildings that will be very close. And as we get closer to the end, you know, some of those buildings have funded already. And so it will be a challenge, but we're up to the challenge and we will do our best to make sure we finish on time.
Great. On the operations side, on property management, we actually just made our official offer letter and were accepted. We have a community manager that has been doing property management in the Meridian, Idaho market. Is very well respected. We were able to recruit her over. Her name is Kimberly. She will start for us first of the year. Even though we won't have units done for a couple months, we already have our community manager retained. We're training her. She's going to get up to date on our systems. And so we have our forces ready to help stabilize these assets for you. And we're excited to prove this new market to our FIG client database. So we'll move on to Houston, Texas, where we have the Bridgestone development, well, Spring, Texas. So tell us a little bit about that one, Brian.
That Texas market is fantastic. We're doing well. We've got a fantastic project manager there, John Rapp. We have, I would say we're probably in the neighborhood of about 20 buildings under construction. Again, from the foundation stage all the way through our first building there is essentially ready for turnover. We've been surprised there by the availability of subcontractors and how hard they've been willing to work to keep us on track. It's a great project.
Excellent. We are excited about that one. We also have a property manager, just so you know, on the stabilization side, Dane Anderson, who's been with Remax Equity Property Management for FIG here in Utah, is relocating him and his family. So he's going to oversee all of our Texas operations. So property management arm is taken care of, so you can count on your stabilization happening correctly. Dane was over the Easton Park development. Easton Park now is fully leased out. Anything that's coming over is pre-leasing and staying right on track. So we're excited. So one more thing, thank you for taking the time. This has been a longer video than we expected, but hopefully it's been very helpful for you. Wanted to announce that our Intermountain Real Estate Investment Summit is February 1st and 2nd. It's a Friday and Saturday. Plan that time on your calendar. We're going to be announcing some of the details and some marketing materials that will be coming out to you soon. Last year's FIG retreat, for those who attended, hopefully you thought was great. We're now getting paid speakers. It's going to be a very, very robust event. We're going to 10 times the quality of the content that we're going to be putting out to our clients as a thank you to you. And honestly, we're bringing in competition. We're bringing in other ways to invest in real estate. Even though that may pull a couple people away from us, our mentality is a mentality of abundance. So we're going to be talking about multifamily syndication deals, crowdfunding. We're going to talk about multifamily in the student family market, fix and flips. We've got a specialist to replace your income. We're working on a guy who specializes in national multifamily consulting to tell us the state of the market. And then we're going to have industry experts that talk about the shifting times of the market, and on a panel to say, what would you do in this shifting market? What things are you taking consideration of, and what will you do to prepare for the shifting market in all different sectors, from real estate agent to multifamily to hedge funds to developers and builders. What are they doing to prepare for a shifting market so no one gets caught like the 2008-2009 crisis? So book your plane tickets, schedule the weekend. It's going to be excellent. We're hosting it at the Utah Valley Convention Center because we outgrew our space last year in our offices. We expect to have right around 400 people, and we'd love to see you there. Thanks so much for your business. Thanks for your time, and have a great day.